Hi, my name is Kevin Taylor. Today, I have a response for the 99 fools of the NPP. This is the Friday editorial. When you see me wear only white shirts on my show, every day or every time, it is not because that's the only shirt I have. No, it is because I never want this show to be about me. I never want this show to be about Kevin Taylor. How I look or how I dress. But I want this show to be about the truth. Yes, the undiluted truth which has been hidden from the ordinary Ghanaian. The deceit and the corruption people in power today, both in government and in public sector, are indulged in. If tomorrow I am not around to continue the show, someone who is equally as smart and as bold like myself can take up the mantle and speak truth to his fellow Ghanaians without fear or favor. This is just to send a message to the criminals and thieves in government that this show is not going anywhere. Now, before I address the NPP, and more specifically the NPP communication team led by Yao Buabia Samwa the drunkard, and on their vague letter supposed to be sent to the New York Times, I would like to make something clear. My fellow Ghanaians, you people should understand that we have a corrupted, compromised and polarized media which only defend tribe and criminals in government. The media overlook issues concerning national security and development, all because the culprits in these crimes are characters the media helped manufacture. And a typical example of such characters is Ace and Anankuma. Now, my fellow Ghanaians, this is where we have to know that the government we have today is a government which was carved out of deceit. It was carved out of lies, crime, hate, and corruption. Their swift response to truth shows how guilty they are and how ignorant they are as a government in power. I'm speaking to well-thinking Ghanaians. Yes, I'm speaking to the youth who want their voices heard in these difficult times in our history as a nation. I'm speaking to the ordinary voter who wants a job, who wants decent accommodation, who wants access to good health care, and the ordinary Ghanaian who expects his or her government to set a good example when it comes to fighting corruption and protecting the national interest. Now, a foreign company was duped by someone found to be a Nigerian living in Ghana. This story I'm talking about was investigated and published by the Herald newspaper based in Ghana. Yes, with names and addresses of these individuals. The corrupt media decided not to cover it because the characters involved in this crime are their friends. Months after I tell the story on a different platform, a whole government, yes, a whole NPP government turns around to intimidate me, Kevin Taylor, with hitmen and stupid, senseless press release to my wife's company, the New York Times. I honestly felt very ashamed to belong to this useless party, the NPP. My fellow Ghanaians, this should tell you that these people we have in power today are against press freedom and freedom of speech. They hate the truth because they are indebted to lies. A whole political party ignores serious issues affecting this nation to go after a journalist and his family all because they can't stand the truth. A whole political party in power, yes, a whole political party in power, the NPP, led by a stinking drunk like Yao Buabina Samwa, takes the time to meet and write lies about publication I've made because I've exposed the government's crimes. You idiots think the New York Times is like multimedia or Asempa FM, where you could send your ignorant raccoons and barking dogs like Owusu Bempa and your big head zombie information minister Kojo Oponkroma to go in there and manipulate the stories or the news. You ignorant fools calling yourself the communication team of the NPP have bitten the worst meat. I don't blame you people calling yourself the communication team of the NPP because when you are led by a stinking drunk who smells of alcohol even in his sober moments, this is the embarrassment you call for yourself. I feel bad for the NPP because out of your stupidity and ignorance, you have rather exposed your government to the international media for more scrutiny. And trust me, I will help tell that story to the world. The human rights abuses this government is overseeing, the corruption, the nepotism and the crimes committed by this NPP government will be discussed on the international scene. How can an idiotic drunk like Yao Buabin Asamoah ignore pressing issues like a whole government manipulating the court and security agencies to hold Gregory Afoko in jail after he was granted bail? How can we forget, or how can the NPP party or the communication team forget to address how lawyers and public officials came together to help a Nigerian fraudster, yes, and a Ghanaian, dupe a foreign company? You idiots, led by a drunkard like Yabuabia Samoa, decided to ignore issues like the president's family members coming together to scam Ghanaians through PDS. I thought in your letter you were going to state that a thief like Charles Bisu is still walking in the corridors of the Jubilee House. You, the stinking drinking master, Yabuabia Samoa, forgot, yes, you forgot to write in your letter to the New York Times that your government is shielding thieves. Yes, those thieves who are still holding on to the Kelny GVG contract. This and many more. Without due respect, my fellow Ghanaians, someone will ask, who do we blame for all this nonsense? This man, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. He's the most corrupt, most petty, selfish, ignorant tyrant who only thinks about himself and his family members. This man, since taking office, has gradually painted a picture of intolerance to the highest level. This president, who boasts of being a human rights lawyer without a certificate. This is the same man who led the Kumi Preko demonstration. He calls himself a freedom fighter and all kinds of names. But what do we see today? Unprecedented level of intolerance, no respect for the rule of law. He has now become a beacon of corruption and a tyrant who only aims to suppress the people who criticize his childish and corrupt ego. This is a president who has turned his presidency and, more importantly, his seat of government, which is the Jubilee House, a crime scene. Yes, the Jubilee House is now a crime scene. Every serious crime in this government or in this country has clues or traces out of the Jubilee House. My fellow Ghanaians, we are in difficult times under this president, under this NPP government. This government is a criminal enterprise. We were supposed to be worried the first day this president took office at the Jubilee House. A senior police officer was assaulted and he ignored it. This issue was on camera. JB Dankwa was mysteriously killed. He ignored it. Ahmed Swali was murdered in broad daylight. This president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and his NPP ignored it. Gregory Afoko is rotting in jail after being granted bail. Namwan is also rotting in jail. A thief like Charles Darkwan and Ade are walking in and out of the office of the CID boss. No arrest. Today, PDS has become the biggest scandal in Ghana's history. Charles Bisu cleared. Pius Eze cleared. Osla cleared. It goes on. And you expect me, Kevin Ekobedu Taylor, to come on my show and praise a tyrant, a man who only thinks about himself and his corrupt family. Now, this goes directly to the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. You can't ask Ghanaians to be citizens and not spectators and be behaving like this. You can't claim to believe in Ghana and yet won't allow Ghanaians home and abroad to draw your attention to events around you. Mr. President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, you can't lead a political party that claims to be the doyen of democracy, in which you have elevated your father, your uncles, and other relatives above everyone else. You can't promise development and freedom as your motto and be behaving like this. You can't promise to fight corruption in all its forms and be behaving like this, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. You can't promise jobs to the youth and others. Yet, when companies come and they are duped, you won't investigate and punish those involved. How will investors come into Ghana when the laws are not working? Laws that have been deliberately placed in the hands of your family members. Yes, the Chief Justice, Sufai Ekufu, and the Attorney General, Gloria Ekufu. Now my advice to the communication team led by the stinking drinking master, Yabuabia Samoa, is simple. Yes, it is a wise saying. And I quote, "Other people's wisdom prevent the king from being called a fool." End of quote. Today, Yabuabia Samoa and the whole NPP communication team, out of your stupidity, you have opened doors for wise men to refer to the king as a fool. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kevin Ekobedu Taylor, and this is a Friday editorial.